Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cha Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiriye Nashtaprayeshu Vajreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtaki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 30, the Gopis search for Krishna. Text number 20 onwards. Ma bhashtavat varshabhyam tatranam vihitam maya iti uktavakena hastena yatanti unnidadhe ambaram. Don't be afraid of the wind and rain, said one gopi. I'll save you. And with that, she lifted her shawl above her head. So all the gopis, as we discussed yesterday, are enacting the pastimes of Krishna in separation from him and thinking of him. So here one gopi is trying to enact his pastime of lifting Govardhan hill. Aruyaka padakramya shirasyaha param nripa dushtahe gacha jatoham kalanam nanu dandakrit. Shukdev Goswami continued, O king, one gopi climbed on another's shoulders and putting her foot on the other's head said, Go away from here, O wicked snake. You should know that I have taken birth in this world just to punish the envious. So here the gopis enact Krishna's chastisement of Kaliya. Tatraiko vacha he gopa davagnim pashatol bram chakshushyaashva vidattvambo vidhasya kshemam anjasa. Then another gopi spoke up, My dear cowherd boys, look at this raging forest fire. Quickly close your eyes and I'll easily protect you. Badhanyaya sraja kachit tanvi tatra ulukhale badnami bhanda bhetaram hayang vamusham tviti bhita sudrik padhayasyam bheje bhiti vidambanam. One gopi tied up her slender companion with the flower garland and said, Now I'll bind this boy who has broken the butter pot and stolen the butter. The second gopi then covered her face and beautiful eyes, pretending to be afraid. Evam Krishnam prachamana pranatavanalatastat tattarum vyachakshadvanodeshe padani paramatmana. While the gopis were thus imitating Krishna's pastimes and asking Vrindavan creepers and trees where Krishna, the Supreme Soul, might be, they happened to see his footprints in a corner of the forest. So they happened to see the footprints. Padani vyaktam etani nandasunur mahatmana lakshanta hi dhvajam bhoja vajra ankushyavadibhi. The gopis said the marks of a flag, a lotus, a thunderbolt, an elephant goat, a barley corn, and so forth on these footprints clearly distinguished them as belonging to that great soul, the son of Nanda Maharaj. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, in his commentary on this verse, gives the following scriptural information about the symbolic meanings of the lotus feet of Krishna. In the following verses, the Skanda Purana states the particular places on his feet where Krishna carries the mark of the flag and also other marks, and the reasons for these marks. At the base of the large toe on his right foot, the unborn Lord carries the mark of a disc, which cuts down the 6 mental enemies of his devotees. At the bottom of the middle toe of the same foot, Lord Achyuta has a lotus flower, which increases the greed for him in the minds of the bee-like devotees who meditate on his feet. At the base of his small toe is a thunderbolt, which smashes the mountains of his devotees' reactions to past sins. And in the middle of his heel is the mark of an elephant goat, which brings the elephants of his devotees' minds under control. The joints of his right large toe bears a mark of a barleycorn representing all kinds of enjoyable opulences. It means if we take shelter of Krishna's lotus feet, everything that we need and all kind of protection is there for the devotees. A thunderbolt on the right side of the right foot and an elephant goad below that is there. The acharyas of the Vaishnava Sampradaya explain that since the particular feet under discussion are Lord Krishna's, we should know that the thunderbolt is at the base of a small toe and the elephant goad below the thunderbolt. An elephant goad on the heel belongs rather to Lord Narayan and other Vishnu Tattva expansions. So, different marks at the soles of feet of different Lord. Thus, the Skanda Puran describes 6 marks on Krishna's right foot: the disc, the flag, lotus, thunderbolt, elephant goad, and barleycorn. And the Vaishnava Toshani mentions even more marks: a vertical line beginning at the middle of his foot and continuing as far as the juncture between his big toe and small toe. An umbrella below the disc. At the base of the middle of his foot, a group of 4 swastikas in the 4 cardinal directions, at the 4 points where each swastika meets the next. 4 rose apples and the middle of the swastika in octagon. This makes 11 marks on Krishna's right foot. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti describes the marks on Krishna's left foot as follows. At the base of the large toe is a conch shell with its mouth facing the toe. At the base of the middle toe are 2 concentric circles representing the inner and outer sky. Below this mark is Cupid's unstrung bow. At the base of the bow is a triangle, and surrounding the triangle is a group of 4 water pots. At the base of the triangle is a half moon, and with 2 more triangles touching its points. Below the half moon is a fish. Altogether, then there are 19 distinguishing marks on the soles of Lord Krishna's lotus feet. So some representations are given here, some explanations are given. I don't know about the rest of the explanations. I have to find out somewhere, and we'll try to post it. Tasta padastat padvim anvichantu agrato abala padva pada supriktani vilokyarta sambruvan. The gopis began following Krishna's path, as shown by his many footprints. But when they saw that these prints were thoroughly intermixed with those of his dearmost consort, they became perturbed and spoke as follows. Kasya padani chaitani yataya nanda sununa ansanyasta prakoshtaya karenu karnayata. The gopis said, here we see the footprints of some gopi who must have been walking along with the son of Nanda Maharaj. He must have put his arm on her shoulder, just as an elephant rests his trunk on the shoulder of an accompanying she-elephant. So obviously that gopi is Srimati Radharani, who was with Krishna. So even Shukdev Goswami, although he is trying his best not to take the name of Radharani while describing all these pastimes, but here even he could not. So in a hidden way, he took the name of Srimati Radharani here. Next verse. Anya aradhito nunam bhagwan haririshvara yanno vihaya govinda prito yamanyadraha. Certainly this particular gopi has perfectly worshipped the all-powerful personality of Godhead, Govinda, since he was so pleased with her that he abandoned the rest of us and brought her to a secluded place. So he said, Anya aradhita nunam. Perfectly. Aradhita means perfectly worshipped. So that is Radharani. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that the word Aradhita refers to Srimati Radharani. He comments the sage Shukdev Goswami has tried with all endeavor to keep her name hidden, but now it automatically shines forth from the moon of his mouth. That he has spoken her name is indeed her mercy, and thus the word Aradhita is like the rumbling of a kettle drum sounded to announce her great good fortune. Although the gopis spoke as if jealous of Srimati Radharani, actually they were actually ecstatic to see that she had captured Sri Krishna. So gopis, they're never jealous of Radharani. They all are ecstatic because their whole goal of life is to please Krishna, and they know Krishna is most pleased with Srimati Radharani. So they're all the activities that they do is basically to bring Radha and Krishna together, to serve them together. That's all. And Srimati Radharani, what does she do? She knows Krishna likes to have pleasure. It's her job, it's her service to please Krishna in every way possible. And every gopi wants to be with Krishna. So she also makes arrangements that she can, that every gopi can be with Krishna. That's her. But sometimes, obviously, to give Krishna more pleasure as a pastime, she gets angry also. She's Vamini, leftist mode. So obviously those are the pastimes. But she also arranges, if you go to Barsana Dham, then there are places where she arranged for Krishna to marry Lalita Sakhi, Krishna to marry Vishaka. She arranges all this for their pleasure. But ultimately, everybody wants Radha and Krishna to be together. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur quotes the following detailed description of Srimati Radharani's footprints. So she also has some marks on her soles of her footprints, by which gopis understood it is Radharani who is with Krishna, as given by Srila Rupa Goswami in a Shri Ujjwal Nilamani. At the base of the large toe of her left foot is a mark of a barley corn. Below that mark is a disc. Below the disc is an umbrella, and below the umbrella is a bracelet. A vertical line extends from the middle of her foot to the juncture of her large and second toes. At the base of the middle toe is a lotus. Below that is a flag with a banner, and below that flag is a creeper together with a flower. At the base of her small toe is an elephant goat, and upon her heel is a half moon. Thus, there are 11 marks on her left foot. At the base of the large toe of her right foot is a conch shell, and below that a spear. At the base of the small toe of her right foot is a sacrificial altar. Below that an earring, and below the earring a club. Along the base of the second, third, fourth, and small toes is a mark of a mountain, below which is a chariot, and on the heel is a fish. Thus, altogether, there are 19 distinguishing marks on the soles of Srimati Radharani's lotus feet. Dhanya aho amiyalyo govindangri abja renavaha yan brahmesho ramadevi dadur murdhyan ag anutay. Oh girls, the dust of Krishna's, Govinda's lotus feet is so sacred that even Brahma, Shiva, and the goddess Rama take that dust upon their heads to dispel sinful reactions. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti, who quotes from Shastra each day in the late afternoon, as Krishna returned from the cow pastures with his cowherd boyfriends, great demigods like Brahma and Shiva would come down from heaven and take the dust of his feet. So this is all mentioned in the scriptures. Great personalities like the goddess Rama, the wife of Vishnu, Shiva, and Brahma are not at all sinful, but in the ecstasy of pure Krishna consciousness, they feel themselves fallen and impure. thus desiring to purify themselves. They blissfully take the dust of the Lord's lotus feet on their heads. Because also they feel they are humble, they're very, very humble. They say, we are impure, so we want to be purified. Tasya muni nakshobham kurvanti uchya padani yat yakapaharitya gopinam raho bhunkte achyutadharam na lakshante padanyatra tasya nunam trinankura hai khidyat sujata ankritalam unenye preyasim priya. These footprints of that special gopi greatly disturb us. Of all the gopis, she alone was taken away to a secluded place where she is enjoying the lips of Krishna. Look, we can't see her footprints over here. It's obvious that the grass and sprouts are hurting the tender soles of her feet. And so the lover, Krishna, lifted up his beloved. Imani adhik magnani padani vahato vadhu gopya pashyat krishnasya bhara krantasya kamina atravaropita kanta pushpa hetur mahatmana. Please observe, my dear gopis, how in this place lusty Krishna's footprints are pressed more deeply into the ground. Carrying the weight of his beloved must have been difficult for him. And over here, that intelligent boy must have put her down to gather some flowers. The word Vadhum indicates that even though Shri Krishna was not officially married to Radharani, he had in fact made her his bride in the Vrindavan forest. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, the gopis use the word Kamina here to indicate the following thoughts. We actually love Shri Krishna, but still he has rejected us. Therefore, his private dealings with Radharani prove that this young prince of Raja has carried her away because of lust. If he were interested in love, he would have accepted us instead of that cowherd girl, Radharani. These thoughts reveal the mood of gopis who are rivals of Srimati Radharani. Of course, the gopis who are her direct allies were jubilant to see her good fortune. Now you would say, can there be any rivals of Radharani? Now actually in Vrindavan, there are two groups, Radharani and Chandravali. Although they both are cousins, Radharani and Chandravali. But their group of gopis, they don't like each other in the sense because they think Krishna should be, Radharani's group thinks that Krishna should be with Radharani, and the Chandravali's group thinks Krishna should be with Chandravali. And there are always things going on between the two groups. In fact, Raghunath Das Goswami, if we remember him, he would be at Radha Kund and chanting and doing his bhajan there. And we know he used to take only little buttermilk every other day in a dona, a cup made of leaves. So once some of his followers or his friends, I won't say disciples, they thought, oh, Baba doesn't take lots of buttermilk. So they went to a village, and in that village on a tree there were bigger leaves than the trees that we find around Radhakund. So that village is near Govardhan, somewhere in that area. So they brought those leaves and they made a dona so that Raghunath Das Goswami can have little more buttermilk than he's used to have. So they're just worried that he might get sick if he doesn't eat or drink properly. So Raghunath Das Goswami, he saw that leaf, that dona, it was a bigger dona. And he said, where did you get this leaf from? We don't find this leaf here. Or then those The Brajvasi say, oh, we got this leaf from that village. I'm forgetting the name of that village, this particular village. And Raghunath Das Goswami, when he heard that they got the leaves from that village, he threw away the buttermilk and the dona and they said, not going to drink from that leaf. Why? Because that village belongs to Chandravali. I am from Radharani's group. these are just spiritual, completely spiritual pastimes. But Raghunath Das Goswami was up to this level that I'm not going to even drink buttermilk in the cup made of leaves that is from Chandravali's village. So much competition is there. So this is what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying. These thoughts, because they were jealous that why Krishna is with Radharani. How come he is not with Chandravali? Atra prasuna vachaya priyarthe prayasa krita prapadda kramana ete pashyata sakale pade. Just see how in this place dear Krishna collected flowers for his beloved. Here he has left the impression of only the front part of his feet because he was standing on his toes to reach the flowers. Kesha prasadhanam tvatra kaminya kamina kritam tani chudayata kantam upavishtam iha dhruvam. Suddenly Krishna sat down here with his girlfriend to arrange her here. The lusty boy must have made a crown for that lusty girl out of the flowers he had collected. So here, Krishna, the shloka says, Kesha Prasadhanam. He must have made decorative arrangements for her here. And in fact, this is one of the major reasons Krishna is called Keshav. So Keshav means many things. One meaning is one who is killer of Keshi demon. And another meaning is one who beautifully decorates Srimad Radharani's hair, Kesh. Another reason is because he has beautiful hair, beautiful curly hair. So he's also called Keshav because of that. The Acharyas explained that Shri Krishna wanted to decorate Radharani's hair with the forest flowers he had collected. Therefore, they sat down together facing the same direction with Radharani between Krishna's knees, and Krishna proceeded to arrange her hair with flowers and make a flower crown for her, coronating her as a goddess of the forest. Thus, the romantic young boy and girl played and joked together in Vrindavan. Preme tya chatmarata atma ramo api akhandita kaminam darshayan danyam srinam chaiva duratmatam. Shukdev Goswami continued. Lord Sri Krishna enjoyed with that gopi, although he enjoys only within, being self-satisfied and complete in himself. Thus, by contrast, he showed the wretchedness of ordinary, lusty men and hard-hearted women. This verse directly refutes the superficial criticism materialistic people sometimes direct against Lord Krishna's pastimes. The philosopher Aristotle claimed that ordinary activities are unworthy of God, and with this idea in mind, some people declare that since the activities of Lord Krishna resemble those of ordinary human beings, he cannot be the supreme absolute truth. But they only resemble, so that's why we have to understand his activities in tattva, in truth. But in this verse, Shukdev Goswami emphatically points out that Lord Krishna acts on the liberated platform of spiritual self-satisfaction. This fact is indicated here by the terms Atmaram and Akhandita, Atmarat. It is inconceivable to ordinary people that a handsome young boy and a beautiful young girl enjoying romantic conjugal affairs in the forest mid-moonlight can be engaging in pure activity, free from egoistic desire and lust. Yet, while Lord Shri Krishna is inconceivable to ordinary persons, those who love him can easily realize the absolute pure nature of his activities. Just like in the material world, it is often said that girl and a boy, they just cannot be friends. There has to be something else more than that. But this is material. Krishna is Krishna. He is Atmaram. One may argue that beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and that therefore the devotees of Krishna are only imagining the Lord's activities to be pure. This argument ignores many significant facts. For one, the path of Krishna consciousness of developing love for Krishna demands that a devotee strictly follow 4 regulative principles: no illicit sex, no gambling, no intoxication, and no eating of meat, fish, or eggs. When one is freed from material lust and rises to the liberated platform beyond material desires, one realizes the absolute beauty of Lord Krishna. This process is not theoretical. It has been practiced and completed by many thousands of great sages who have left us their shining example and their brilliant teachings concerning the path of Krishna consciousness. So these are not just theoretical and teachings just for the heck of it. No, we follow it and then we get purified. And Krishna himself says in Bhagavad Gita, those who take shelter of me, they only can cross over this Bhavsagar or Maya. So how can he himself be in the Maya? There's no way. Certainly beauty is in the eye of the beholder. However, real beauty is perceived by the soul's eye, not by the lusty eye of the material body. Therefore, the Vedic literature repeatedly stresses that only those freed from material desire can see the beauty of Lord Krishna with the eye of the pure soul. Anointed with love of Godhead, it may finally be noted that upon realizing the pastimes of Lord Krishna, one becomes free from all tinges of sex desire, a state of mind that can hardly result from meditating upon material sexual affairs. So that's why these pastimes are so pure that they remove any even last tinges of sexual desire from our hearts. So how can these pastimes have any impurity in them? There's no way. The conjugal pastimes of Krishna perfectly round out his qualification as the supreme absolute truth. The Vedanta states that the absolute truth is the source of everything. So certainly the absolute cannot lack any of the beautiful things of this world. It's only because romantic affairs exist in a pure spiritual form in the absolute that they can manifest in a perverted material form in this world. Thus, the apparent beauty of this world is not to be absolutely rejected. Rather, beauty should be accepted in its pure spiritual form. Since the beginning of time, men and women have been inspired to poetic rapture by the art of romance. Unfortunately, romance in this world usually leads to crushing disappointment brought about by a change of heart or by death. Thus, although we may at first find romantic affairs beautiful and enjoyable, they are eventually spoiled by the onslaught of material nature. Still, it is unreasonable to totally reject the concept of romance. Rather, we should accept conjugal attraction in its absolute, perfect, pure form as it exists within God, without a tinge of material lust or selfishness. Thus, that pure conjugal attraction, the supreme beauty and pleasure of the supreme truth, is what we are reading about here in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we just have to hear it properly in the proper consciousness and then appreciate the relationship between Krishna and Srimati Radharani. Itevam darshayanti astyascha cherur gopyo vichetasah yam gopim manyat Krishno vihayanya Striyo Sachamene Tadatmanam Varishtam Sarvayošitam Itva Gopihi Kamyana Mamaso Bhajate Priya. As the gopis wandered about, their minds completely bewildered, they pointed out various signs of Krishna's pastimes. Particular gopi whom Krishna had led into a secluded forest when he had abandoned all the other young girls began to think herself the best of women. My beloved has rejected all the other gopis, she thought, even though they are driven by Cupid himself. He has chosen to reciprocate with me alone. Previously, all the gopis had become proud of their association with Krishna and then suddenly lost his association. Only Radharani remained with him. Now she has also become proud of that association and will suffer a similar fate. The Lord arranges all this to reveal the gopis' unparalleled devotion for him, a devotion whose intensity fully manifests in the moments of separation. So Krishna would leave Radharani also. Oops. Tato gatva vanodesham dripta keshavam abravit na pare aham chalitum nayam mam yatrate manaha. As the two lovers passed through one part of the Vrindavan forest, the special gopi began feeling proud of herself. She told Krishna, Keshav, I cannot walk any further. Please carry me wherever you want to go. Eva mukta priyamaha skanda aruyatamiti tataschantar dade Krishna sa vadhur anvatapyata. Thus addressed, Lord Krishna replied, just climb on my shoulder. But as soon as he said this, he disappeared. His beloved consort then immediately felt great remorse. Srimati Radharani was exhibiting the pride of a beautiful girl who has brought her boyfriend under control. Thus she told Krishna, please carry me wherever you want to go. I cannot walk anymore. Shri Krishna now disappears from her side, intensifying her ecstatic love more and more. And how is Radharani taking it? Ha nath ramana preshta, vasi kvasi mahabhuja, dasyaste karvanaya me, sakhe darshaya sannidhim. She cried out, O Master, O my lover, my dearmost, where are you? Where are you? Please, O mighty armed one, O friend, show yourself to me, your poor servant. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, Radha says, my Lord, I am being burned in the great fire of separation from you, and my life here is about to leave my body. Even with the greatest endeavor, I cannot maintain my life. But you're the Lord of my life, and so you can quickly save me simply by glancing upon me. Please do so immediately. I beg you to save my life. Not for my sake, but rather for yours. After giving up all the other gopis, you have brought me to so far, to a secluded place in the forest, just to enjoy a special pleasure with me. If I die, you will not be able to find conjugal happiness anywhere else. You will remember me and thus lament in your sorrow. Krishna replies, so let me become unhappy. What does that matter to you? But you're most dear to me. I'll feel, that's Radharani saying, your unhappiness millions of times more than you. Even if I've already died, I still not be able to tolerate the pain that even one spot on the nails of your lotus feet may experience. Indeed, to prevent such pain, I'm ready to throw my life away millions and millions of times. So kindly show yourself and drive away that unhappiness. Krishna would say, but if your life here is on the verge of leaving your body, what can I do to stop that? Simply by the touch of your arms, which are a medicinal herb, with the power to revive the dead, my body will return to its healthy, normal condition, and my life here will automatically come back and remain in my body. But you know the forest path yourself without my help. So why did you order me, the king's son and a very young and gentle boy who's to be respected? Why did you command? Take me wherever you wish. Why do you anger me like this? Radha cries out, please show yourself to your wretched maidservant. Be merciful to me. Be merciful. When I ordered you, I was overcome by sleepiness. I was so tired from playing with you. Therefore, please excuse what your poor servant said. Please don't be angry. It was only because you treated me like such a close friend, though I am unworthy, that I spoke like that to you. So Krishna would say, all right, my love, I'm very pleased with you, so please come to me. But I've been blinded by lamentation. I cannot see where you are. Please tell me where you are. Shri Shukavacha, Anvichantayo Bhagavato, Margam Gopyo Vidurita, Tadrishu Priya Vishleshan, Mohitam Dugitam Sakim. Shukdev Goswami said, while continuing to search out Krishna's path, the gopis discovered their unhappy friend close by. She was bewildered by separation from her lover. So the gopis found Srimati Radharani bewildered, crying. Taya kathitam akarnya mana praptim cha madhavat avamanam cha dauratmyad vismayam paramam yayu. She told them how Madhav had given her much respect, but how she then suffered dishonor because of her misbehavior. Gopis were extremely amazed to hear this. It was natural for Radharani to ask Krishna to carry her, for this request was consistent with the loving mood of their relationship. Now, however, in great humility, she describes her behavior as wicked. Hearing of these affairs, the other gopis are astonished. Tato avishan vadam chandra jyotsna yavad vibhavyate tamah pravishtam alakshya tato niva vritu striyaha. In search of Krishna, the gopis then entered the depths of the forest as far as the light of the moon shone. But when they found themselves engulfed in darkness, they decided to turn back. The gopis entered a part of the forest that are so dense that even the light of the full moon could not penetrate it. The scene is also described in the Vishnu Purana. One gopi said, Krishna has entered such a dark part of the forest that we cannot possibly see his footprints. Therefore, let us turn back from this area, which even the light of the moon cannot reach. Tanmanaskastadalapsa tadvicheshtas tadatmikaha tadgunaneva gayantyo na atma garani sasmaru. The minds absorbed in the thoughts of him, they conversed about him, acted out his pastimes, and felt themselves filled with his presence. They completely forgot about their homes as they loudly sang the glories of Krishna's transcendental qualities. Actually, there is no separation from Krishna for the pure devotees of the Lord. Although apparently abandoned by Krishna, the gopis were actually tightly connected to him by the spiritual process of Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord. And we can only imagine when the gopis were so much of love for Krishna and in so much of separation, when they were alone with Krishna, the separation, what kind of kirtan must be coming out from their hearts? And they were talking about him and his pastime. Puna Pulinam Agatya Kalindya Krishna Bhavana Samveta Jago Krishnam Tada Gamanam Akankshitaha. The gopis again came to the bank of Kalindi, or Yamuna, meditating on Krishna and eagerly hoping he would come. They sat down together to sing of him. As stated in Kathopanishad, the Supersoul can be realized by that person whom he chooses. Thus, the gopis fervently pray that Krishna come back to them. So thus ends the purport of 10th canto, 30th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Gopis' Search for Krishna. So on their own, they could not. They just waited for his mercy. So he comes back on his own. They could not force him. But actually, this is something even Krishna does not understand. He says, I know everything. Abhigya Swarat. I'm independent. I know everything. He does not know the love of Srimati Radharani, of gopis, and especially of Srimati Radharani for him. So this was the reason, internal reason, of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna coming as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The external reason is always Paritranaya Sadhana Vinashaya Chatuskhritam, and he wanted to give Krishna Prema by establishing Sankirtan movement. All those reasons are there, internal reasons. He wanted to understand the love of Srimati Radharani for him. He wanted to understand the feelings she feels when she sees his beauty. And and he wanted to understand the happiness she feels because of her love for him. Because these things were not disclosed to him yet. Because Radharani's love is so great for Krishna, even he cannot understand it. So that's why he came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to understand that mood, and especially because here he caused that separation. So he wanted to feel that mood of separation. And Srimati Radharani's love is so great. It's just limitless ocean, so deep, so great, that Radharani told him, you want to understand my love? You cannot understand it without a guru. You cannot just take my mood, my love for Krishna, and try to understand. It's not possible. You have to have a guru. So only I can teach you that. Nobody else can, because nobody else can understand that. So she came as Gadadhar Pandit, an associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And moreover, she told him that once you experience just a little portion of that mood of mine, my love for you, the mood of separation for you, you won't be able to control yourself. Srimati Radharani will never hear. Obviously, when we go study Chaitanya Charitamrita, we'll see how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri, in Gambhira, when he was staying and he was going through this ecstatic emotions of separation of love from Krishna. Although Jagannath-ji was not far from Gambhira, but he would go in so much of ecstasy. Sometimes he would be scratching the walls of the room of Gambhira. Sometimes he would be running around and jumping in the ocean, and so many things we'll read. But we'll never read Radharani going through all these things. And she was going through separation trillions and trillion times more than what Krishna was experiencing as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is how great Srimati Radha. She had complete composure, even though in separation from Krishna. Complete composure. That is Radharani. So people, when they say, oh, what is Radharani? Who's Radharani? They don't know how glorious Radharani is. Even Krishna does not understand her mood, her love. What can anybody think of her? No way. Here it is mentioned they were not married. Actually, they got married in a place called Bhandirvan. Maybe next time when we are in there in Vrindavan, we can visit that place. But the marriage was a hidden affair. It was not for people to know. Again, that's why with her love, with her devotion, with her mood, she completely controls Krishna. Completely. But on top of it, when she sees that somebody is making progress in devotion, in service to Krishna, then if she recommends that devotee, oh Krishna, please take this person in your service, keep him in your service, Krishna cannot say no. That's why all Brajvasis, whenever we go and Braj, anywhere you go, they don't chant names of Krishna. They always say Radha Radhe. Because Radharani is the Vrindavaneshwari. She is the Lord of Vrindavan. So she's a complete queen of Vrindavan. She controls, she owns Vrindavan. That's her property, the whole Braj. So that's why we have to pray to her. Obviously, we cannot approach Radharani directly. So we go through our Guru, Prabhupada, but we approach both Radha and Krishna. So another point was Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj said that those who are, although in general we are called Vaishnavas because we are trying to be devotees of Vishnu Tattva. But so those who are devotees of Vishnu, they are actually called Vaishnavas. Those who are devotees of Krishna are called Karshaneya. But those who are devotees of Radharani are called Gaudiya. Because we follow Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu, although is Krishna, but the mood is of Radharani. Also I wanted to make one more point. That Radharani, when she said, you won't be able to control yourself when you even feel a little tinge of that mood I have for you from separation, you won't be able to control yourself. So she covered Krishna with her body. So that is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is golden in color. Radharani is golden. Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi. Krishna is Shyam Sundar, blackish. So Mahaprabhu is golden in color because Radharani covered him so that when he falls on the ground, because he knew he won't be able to control himself. So he would be falling on the ground and hurting him. So she said, I'll protect you. I will take all the injuries, so all the fall. I'll protect you. So that is Radharani. So that's what, by mercy of Prabhupada, we are trying to understand some little glimpse of the mood of Srimati Radharani for Krishna. And if somebody says, these are just material teenager boy and girl, nonsense, rascals. This is Srimati Radharani. So we just have to pray to her again and again, over and over, to please keep us in her service so we can serve Radha and Krishna. That's all, our mutual. So anyway, we'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments. Oh.
body of Radha and heart of Krishna?
I didn't get what you said. It wasn't clear.
So Prabhuji, in a way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhuji is a body of Radharani and heart of Krishna.
He is Krishna himself. He is Krishna, but with the mood of Radharani. But then Radharani covered his body with her color so that he doesn't get injured. And then he would understand the mood properly also.
So it is like mood is also Radharani's body, which is golden color. That is also because of Radharani covered again.
Your voice is not very clear. I think your connection is not very good. Maybe you can write it on the group. Okay. So thank you all very much. You all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Ram.
Hare
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Jai Shri